What's up YouTube, it's Crystal Knight here coming at you for a video. Today we are going to be doing a deck profile for Magic the Gathering, Pioneer specifically. So let's get into it. We're going to be starting off with our boss monster. We're going to be running 2 Traxos. We are going to be running 4 Nettle Drone, 4 Blaster Spit Goblins, 4 Third Path Iconographers, say that 4 times fast, 4 Reckless Fireweavers, and 4 Monastery Swift Spears. That's it for the creatures. Let's get into the equipment. We're going to be running 4 Bone Saws. We're going to be running 4 Cather Shields. That's it for the equipments. And we will be running 4 Retraction Helix. I'll show you guys why here in a bit. And we will be running 4 Opt to help us get to our combo pieces faster. This deck is running 12 mountains and 10 islands. That's pretty inconsequential. So I designed this deck for a turn 2 kill. It is possible, but it's not very likely. Where's the other piece? There we go. So the way this works is turn 1, you play your Fire Spit Goblin, and turn 2, you cast Retraction Helix on Fire Spit Goblin. That way it can tap to return a non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Then you play Monastery Swift Spear. You tap Goblin to return one of your opponent's anythings, whether it be a blocking creature that they might have or an artifact, anything. And then you play Bone Saws. And when you play Bone Saws, something interesting happens. Blaster Spit Goblin will untap anytime you cast a non-creature spell. And when you play Bone Saws, Monastery Swift Spear gets +1. So the goal is to tap, return your Bone Saws, play Bone Saws, untapping your Goblin, giving your Monastery Swift Spear +1. You do that until your Monastery Swift Spear is infinite. And then you tap your Goblin to remove another one of your opponent's objects, and on turn 2 you swing for infinite damage. This combo has a lot of different pieces. Let's just say you couldn't find your Monastery Swift Spear, and you can play Reckless Fireweaver, and you can just tap the Goblin to keep returning Bone Saws, and every time Bone Saws is cast, Fireweaver will deal 1 damage to your opponent. You could also replace Reckless Fireweaver with Third Path Iconographer. Every time you cast a non-creature spell, he'll create a 1/1 creature token. So at the end of your 3rd turn, you could have infinite creatures. You could also replace Blaster Goblin with Nettle Drone. Nettle Drone will untap anytime you cast a colorless spell, so an artifact or another Eldrazi perhaps. So you could tap you could cast Retraction Helix on him, tap him, return Bone Saws, create infinite creatures. Or one of my personal favorites, you could actually cast Traxos. Now Traxos is a bit harder to do. When you cast him, he enters the battlefield tapped, and he untaps when you play a historical spell, so an artifact, legendaries, or sagas. So you play Bone Saws, have your Iconographer out already. You'll have already created one. When you play Bonesaw's, he will untap. He'll create a token. You cast Retraction Helix on him, and you go infinite creatures. You do infinite damage, or you create infinite. You create an infinite creature, pretty much. Now you can also replace Bonesaws with your Cather Shield, and it'll perform the exact same function. This entire deck is designed mostly to get a turn 2 kill, but the combo is everywhere. It does everything. The only thing you have to watch out for are your counter spells, but otherwise this deck is pretty good. You got your opt in there so you can draw out your pieces. It's not the best deck. It's missing some things. I'm not really sure what else to do. I put, I'm going to go over a sideboard here. We got Springleaf Drum and Ornithopter. If you can play Ornithopter and Springleaf Drum on turn 1, on turn 2 you can play your Nettle Drone, and you can probably go infinite on turn 3 and win. So this is a turn 2 or 3 deck. So yeah. I call it Izzet Burn, ? Because we don't know. It mostly turned into infinite creatures and infinite burn and infinite attack. So yeah. Click like, hit subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. And have a nice day. Crystal Knight out.